Good morning. It's Lindsay Huddleston back in the building for another SPS Monday Motivation holiday edition. That's right. We are enjoying the holiday. Some of us are working our normal schedule. Some of us have a little time off. But either way, we're back in the building 7 a.m. This is what we do. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a pretty good weekend, very restful. Health is wealth out here in these COVID streets. Believe that. I want to wish you guys a healthy holiday. Today's topic, as we get underway, you see, is if you can't be corrected, don't expect to be selected. I'll say that again. If you can't be corrected, don't expect to be selected. Self-correction and being corrected is a very important asset out here. Who is this morning? Like clockwork. Good morning, Michelle. Happy Monday. Happy holidays. Thank you for chiming in as always. Wishing you and your family nothing but the best during this holiday season. Talking about being correctable. Part of this stems from an item that's trending online right now, talking about the need for players to be able to accept that positive criticism from their coaches. Now, as you guys know, in my role as a sports psychology consultant with media credentials, I'm all over the place. Looking forward to a week from today, Monday, being down at North Farmington for the holiday extravaganza. But as you look at these basketball events that I'm at, I'm just there watching. And it just kind of gets disheartening sometimes because you see coaches doing their best to coach these young men and women. And, you got parents coaching from the sideline, you got the other outside influencers, but it's the coaches that are with these young men and women every day, traveling throughout the state, traveling throughout the country. And whether you feel that a coach doesn't really have what it takes to coach your kid, they're doing it. They're the one that got vetted by the school. They're the one that passed the background check, not just from a criminal standpoint, but also from a standpoint that their credentials matched up. So I think it's important to understand that we have to be able to be corrected in order to be selected. And I won't just make it about sports. I'll talk to the adults as well. If you can't be corrected, how do you think you'll eventually be singled out to get that opportunity you want? If you're a candidate for a job somewhere, if you can't correct yourself going forward, how do you think you can be the one to get that opportunity? So again, being corrected isn't necessarily a negative thing. And I think so many times we put being corrected with a form of criticism. Well, let's talk about that for a second. This is the essence of the difference between correction and criticism. Correction, folks, flows out of care for the others in the effort to improve future behavior. Criticism, on the other hand, too often becomes, or at least can feel like, a personal attack that harms your pride or ego. So the other part of it is that those of us who are out here in this space trying to help people, trying to correct people for their betterment, there's also an approach that you have to take, because sometimes as coaches, as leaders, as managers, we get so caught up in trying to do good that we forget the nuances that are part of helping people. And I really want to emphasize that. We forget the nuances that are part of helping people, because you can say, well, I'm a leader, I'm a coach, I'm a parent, and you just say whatever, not realizing how this is impacting the person and how it may be difficult for them to ascertain the difference between you correcting them and criticizing them. And unfortunately, the human brain always kind of reverts to the default of the negative. So what you may be thinking is just simple correction may be perceived and may actually be criticism. So we'll talk about that for a second. But why am I wearing my glasses today? Because if I didn't get my eyes corrected, I wouldn't be able to move forward. Right now, you guys are nothing but a blur as it relates to me looking at myself right now. I didn't necessarily want to wear glasses, and I normally wear contacts, but I'm trying to emphasize a point. If you don't do the things to correct what you need, it's going to stop your ability to be able to move forward. Rocking my USA basketball right now. Talk about being selected to be part of a gold medal run. You can't just get selected to USA basketball by not improving and correcting yourself along the way. But what I do want to add, folks, is something that can help you guys as coaches, as leaders, as managers. I've got a few things we can talk about. One, you want to be straightforward. You aren't doing anybody any favors by skirting around the subject. And a lot of times we have a problem being straightforward, but then a lot of times our challenge is that we can be too blunt. meaning that we haven't built the kind of cachet with the individual to be able to be so blunt and direct. So yeah, it does take work. Yeah. See, leadership, you have to realize that when you're in a position of leadership, there's almost more responsibility and there's a bigger burden because you can't just throw your leadership weight around. That's when you have abusive leadership, abusive people being in these roles because you say, well, I'm the leader, I'm the coach, I'm the parent, do what I say. But the reality is, in some way or form, there still needs to be some buildup of some information to support your rationale. Also, talk about be specific. General criticism almost always sound like a put down. That's right. You have to work on your skill set and say exactly what it is you need that person to address and work on. Michelle is right on it. What she says, deliver message direct, but coming from love and wanting to make the person better. That's right. But see, that love has to be built up. You have to earn that. See, there's some work that comes with that. See, abuse of power comes along a lot, Michelle, because people get a title, get a role, whatever it may be. They go straight to just saying, okay, let me put the smack down. But you have to nurture that. And it's really hard because you're saying, well, why do I have to take these extra steps when I'm the leader? Why do I have to take these extra steps when I'm the coach? Why do I have to take these extra steps when I'm in charge? Well, with great, opportunity come great responsibility. You have to really be able to nurture those relationships. What they say, the kids don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it takes some work being done. So you're absolutely right, Michelle, with that too. I got a few other things I want to add that I hope can help us going forward. Also, focus on the work and not the person. See, it's so easy for us to make these personal attacks on a person. And sometimes you could be doing that. You could be focusing on what they're doing on the floor. You could be focusing on what they're doing with their work product, and they may take it personal. They may say, oh, you're talking about me as a person, but what you want to be able to do is go back and say, no, 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 no. I didn't say anything about you as an individual. I'm talking about the work you're putting out here. So you want to be able to cover yourself as a leader to be able to go back and say, listen to what I said to you, and make the person go back and think and say, wow, that is true. He did just talk about my work. He didn't really make a personal attack on me. So that's important as well. A few more things also. Don't tell someone they're wrong. Don't tell them they're wrong. Just talk about what they can do to be better. Because again, that becomes a personal attack. And we can make this argument all day that this generation of athletes is soft or whatever. Well, it doesn't matter. But if that's the way you feel, that means that your approach, if you want to be successful, if you want them to be able to be better. Now the question is, do you want them to be better, or do you want to just dump all your issues, all your adult issues on the child? Do you want them to be better, or do you want to dump all your management deficiencies on the employee? Do you want them to be better, or do you want to dump all your toxic issues in the relationship? Right? Right? If you cannot be corrected, don't expect to be selected. But you also have to be able to be in a position to be able to help someone. And then also find something to be compliant with. Let me just fix what I'm saying with that. Find something to compliment. I'm sorry. Find something to compliment. You got to be able to build them up. You got to be able to give them something. And so many times, those of us in leadership roles, we find it very difficult to give a compliment. Remember, years ago, I was talking to a gentleman about him raising his young son. And I remember using the example. I said, hey, would you ever compliment your son for taking out the garbage? He said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I said, well, how about this? How about saying to the young man, hey, I'm really happy about the way you're showing more responsibility around the house. He thought about it. That did not clash with his core values. And by giving that compliment, he was able to get the young man to take pride in that. So there's a compromise we got to make with some of our values to get what we want to get out of people. Michelle says, listen for a different perspective. I know, Michelle, but that's so difficult for many of us because we get so one-dimensional. I won't go as far as to say that we get power drunk, but, we get so caught up in our viewpoint and what we're thinking that it's hard to give somebody a compliment. It's hard to come off of that because they may say they don't deserve it. I don't want to give that up, but I tell you what, you say you get more bees with honey, right? So I think that's something for those of us who really want to better ourselves in our leadership roles and want to be able to get the most out of the young people we're working with, the people who are our peers in our job. It's a lot of things that can happen. Also, make suggestions, not orders. My goodness. Yeah, if you're the boss, you're the coach, you're the parent, whatever it is, yeah, you can make orders. But how about make a suggestion to make the person feel that they could make this change on their own? I think that's a huge, huge opportunity for some people. Nobody want to hear you barking all the time, do this, do that. But how about, hey, I got a suggestion for you. How about you try this? Yeah, this is a form of psychology. You can call it a Jedi mind trick, but the point is, what are you trying to do? You're trying to correct so people can get better. Or are you trying to just say, I'm so great as a leader. I'm so great as a coach. I'm so great as a parent. This is what you want to try to do. And lastly, have a conversation. Now, this may be the most difficult part because a conversation is two-way communication. Conversation is you're going to say something and you're going to allow somebody to say something back. Are you really ready for that? Is your ego capable of getting some type of feedback? Are you ready to support your comments and what you're saying going forward, right? My boy Courtney said, hey, I'm on point. He said, I'm on target. Shout out to Courtney Alexander. Shout out to Jacob, doing so great. Two-sport athlete, great things out there in the greater Chicago area. Courtney, I'm just trying to say, man, you know when you out here with these youth athletes and how we see these young people who get a lot of notoriety at a very young age. And yeah, their hair gets big, the ego gets going. But I'm hearing so many times from the collegiate level and even the professional level, these young people are not able to take that correction. You have to be able to be corrected because guess what? You don't know it all. You're an eighth grader, you're a ninth grader, you're a 10th grader, you're 11, you're a senior in high school. You don't know it all. And you're trying to go somewhere else. If you're in high school, you're trying to play in college. You don't know about the college game and everything that comes with that. If you're in college, you're trying to go pro. You don't know what comes with being a pro. If you can't be corrected, don't expect to be selected. I'm just trying to tell you, you have to be able to be coached. That's right, Courtney. You got to be coached. One thing they say is a great, great, skill or a great, great characteristic you hear for a lot of highly recruited athletes. He's coachable. She's coachable, meaning I can tell them something and it works. People don't expect you to come to them with everything ready to go. When have you heard a coach say he's a perfect player? He came ready to go. Matter of fact, if you come ready to go, they don't even need you there. And that's very few and far between. So I just want to put that out there. This is on my heart today. I want to encourage all the coaches that are out there, encourage all the parents, people who are charged to be in a leadership role, but also those who are trying to come up, those who are trying to do more. Now, I know there's a very fine line, like I stated, between, being corrected and criticism. Yeah, it's a lot of haters out there. Let the record show this Monday Motivation did address that. It's people hating, looking to say things, but sometimes you can get a little bit of, insight from a hater. They can be hating on you, disliking you, but they can bring up something. That's because you have to have the ability to be able to listen, filter in what you need to filter in, take it in, and move forward. This is Lindsey Huddleston with Monday Motivation. Just loving you guys on this holiday season. Wishing you all the best. Stay safe, stay healthy out here in these COVID streets because it is real. It is real. And I want to thank Courtney. I want to thank Michelle and everyone who may tune into this a little later. I just want to wish you all the best. And remember, if you can't be corrected, don't expect to be selected. It goes for relationships too. Love you guys. See you guys soon. Take care. Peace.